Yo, Cardi B's brand new hairline just got hit with the most brutal accusation you can throw at a hair care company. Women are on TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter right now screaming that their edges are disappearing. Their scalps are thinning, and clumps of hair are ending up in the shower drain after using Grow Good. This was supposed to be Barty's crown jewel launch. And the haters really thought this was the moment to bury her? Before we get into it, subscribe, don't miss it. Nah. Backlash Manzar, the woman the world knows as Cardi B, is standing in the middle of a beauty industry storm. And this one is personal. The center of a hurricane is Grow Good Beauty, her six-piece hair care collection built around her own trademarked fiber-lace technology, a line she officially unveiled on April 15th. 2026, after roughly 3 years of development in the lab, as detailed in her sit-down with Birdie. This wasn't a rushed cash grab. It wasn't another sticker slap deal where a celebrity throws their name on a pre-made formula from a contract manufacturer. This was supposed to be her moment. The crown jewel launch of an empire that already stretches from Grammy stages to sold-out arenas to boardrooms. And then the internet started swinging. In the past week, the complaints exploded across Reddit's r/natural hair board, then spilled onto TikTok reaction pages, then bled all the way into Twitter/X threads where the screenshots got recycled 100 times an hour. Suddenly, every algorithm on the internet decided the same thing at the same time. Cardi B's hairline is making people go bald. That was the pitch. That was the headline. That was the vibe being manufactured in real time. And I gotta be honest with y'all, when I first scrolled past those posts, I paused too. I said, hold up, is this real? Because that's how effective the framing is. That's how good the psychological warfare has gotten. That's the whole point of the operation. But then I did what I always do. I sat down, I opened the tabs, I pulled the receipts, and I started reading the actual words instead of the hot take headlines everybody was reposting. And once I did that, y'all, the whole narrative fell apart in about 15 minutes. Critics really thought a couple of cherry-picked screenshots were going to cancel an entire beauty brand backed by a 3-year R&D cycle, a trademark ingredient system, an allure editorial team, and a pre-sale that sold out in under 60 minutes as first documented by the Blackshin on Facebook. Bruh, be for real. Be so for real. So here's what we're about to do. We're not going to vibe on this one. We're not going to guess. We're not going to let TikTok tell us what to think. We're going full detective mode. Receipts on the table, timelines mapped out, ingredients broken down molecule by molecule, and every single one of these viral complaints put under a microscope. By the end of this breakdown, you're going to see exactly who's telling the truth, exactly who's playing a game, and exactly why the specific pile-on happened at this specific moment. Grab your coffee. Sit down. Let's get into it. Aight. First things first. I'm not paraphrasing anybody. I'm not spinning. I'm not summarizing to fit an angle. I'm going to show you the exact words these reviewers type with their own two thumbs. And then we're going to talk about what those words actually say versus what the internet is claiming they say. This is a receipt drop. No filter, no edit, no vibes, just a raw text. Receipt number 1. Straight off Reddit r/natural hair board. A user posted this without a single ounce of hesitation. The amount of hair I have lost from using Grow Good is insane. I have tried it 3 times in 3 weeks, and absolutely not. It leaves my hair dry and matted. I read that, and I had to physically sit up in my chair. Because pause. Did y'all catch what she said in the middle? 3 tries in 3 weeks. Ma'am, if a product allegedly made your hair fall out the first time, why in the name of all that is holy are we running it back a second and a third time? That's not a product review. Sweetheart, that's a personal life choice. That's you and your scalp having a disagreement about boundaries. You can't drop a shampoo 3 times in 21 days, watch your hair get worse each round, and then blame the bottle. That's like eating expired shrimp 3 days in a row and blaming the restaurant every time your stomach flips. At some point, the common denominator is you. Now, let me show you the review that really lit the algorithm on fire. The one every TikTok reactor screenshotted and posted with dramatic zoom-ins and horror movie sound effects. Another Reddit user wrote this. And then all of a sudden, my hair started shedding 5 to 10 strands of hair every time I touched my head. It was worse in the shower. I also dyed my hair in between then and now before I realized. and I think it made the shedding worse. I stopped using it, but my hair looks and feels awful. My family has commented on how much is thinning at the top around my scalp. And then she added, almost like an afterthought, I usually have very thick straight hair, but it's even messed with the texture of it, so it's impossible to get it straight. Yo, hold all the way on. Everybody scroll back up. Read that middle sentence again. Slower this time. I also dyed my hair. Bro. Bro said what? That's the biggest red flag in modern review history. And she just slid it into paragraph 2 like it was a footnote about the weather. Nah, ma'am. Nah. You can't drop a chemical hair dye, an actual cuticle lifting oxidative process, into the middle of testing a brand new hair care system, and then hand out the L to the shampoo. That's the dumbest logic I've heard in 6 months. That's like blaming your Uber driver for a car crash you caused by grabbing the steering wheel from the back seat. Cosmetic chemists have been saying for decades that oxidative dye triggers post-application shedding for weeks afterward, a point Allure has covered in multiple hair health explainers over the years. Her own confession solved the mystery before we even got to it. Now, I want to be fair, because being fair is how you win these debates. Not every negative review is trash. Some of them are actual, honest, valid product feedback. On the product own review page, one user said, made my hair too greasy. I didn't even put that much. Another kept it short and clean. I wasn't a fan of the smell. Those reviews? Those are gold. Those are legitimate. Texture complaints and scent complaints are exactly what beauty brands need to hear. And every beauty editor at Cosmopolitan and Refinery29 will tell you the same thing. Sensory feedback is what drives reformulations. I respect the greasy review. I respect the smell review. That's grown-up consumer feedback. And Grow Good's chemists should be taking notes. No shade there at all. But here's the plot twist the Pylon crew doesn't want you to know. That same Reddit thread, the exact same one supposedly exposing Cardi's line, has a completely different review from another user that says this. Grow Good is by far my favorite. I have bleached hair and it's super straight, and my hair has been so much better ever since I've used it. Wait, what? Bleached hair? She said bleached hair, y'all. Bleach is the single most destructive chemical treatment a person can put on their head. Every stylist on Birdie. And Allure has been screaming that for years. And Grow Good is out here making bleached hair better? So which is it? Is the product frying scalps, or is it saving the most damaged hair on the planet? Because both of those posts are on the same subreddit, in the same week, from the same community. That's not a product problem. That's a hair type problem. And the internet is choosing to only screenshot one side. Slide over to the Facebook hair care groups, and it gets even wilder. One member posted this, I look fuller, and my hair is actually growing and getting thicker. My hair is stronger, and I can go 2 to 3 days without washing. Fuller, thicker, 2 to 3 day wash cycles. That's not a paid ad. That's a Facebook Annie in a hair group typing with 3 exclamation points because she's genuinely hyped. You can't fake that energy. Then on Instagram, a licensed cosmetologist, an actual professional with a state board license, not a random internet critic, wrote this under one of the brand's posts. Her products are phenomenal and I definitely recommend. A licensed cosmetologist. Somebody whose entire livelihood depends on being right about hair. Somebody who could get their license pulled for endorsing garbage. That's the person co-signing Grow Good. And then here comes the big one. For editors at Allure, one of the most respected beauty publications in the country, and a magazine that has broken more skincare and hair care stories than TikTok will ever be able to have covered in their long-running Best of Beauty archive, sat down together and personally tested every single Grow Good product for a formal write-up on the line, according to the launch feature published by Allure. That's not a press release. That's not a favor. That's not Cardi calling in a chip. Allure doesn't send 4 staffers to test 6 products because they think the brand is a joke. Complex and Billboard both flagged the Allure feature as one of the most significant beauty cosigns Cardi has received in her business career. Now that we got the primary quotes on the record, let's connect the dots and expose the details these viral haters conveniently left out. Okay, sit down. Because the timing on this whole controversy is where it goes from suspicious to straight up SUS. Grow Good officially launched on April 15th, 2026, as confirmed by Cardi's Birdie Sit Down. That first viral Reddit thread, Everybody screenshotting? It did not go up on launch day. It didn't go up in launch week. It went up months after launch, right as the brand was gearing up for a second product wave and starting to whisper about expansion, a detail that Complex touched on in its business breakdown of celebrity beauty rollouts. That is not a coincidence, my friends. That's a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Every single time, and I mean every single time, a black woman celebrity drops a beauty brand, and it starts to actually gain traction. The "my hair is falling out" reviews start creeping into the algorithm right when the momentum peaks. This isn't paranoia. This is documented industry behavior. Essence has covered phenomenon multiple times in features on black-owned beauty brands, and Refinery29 has published deep dives on how algorithmic negativity disproportionately targets black-founded product lines. We've seen this movie. We've bought the popcorn. We know how it ends. Ain't nothing new about the script. They just changed the lead actress. Now here's the industry context. Nobody's connecting on TikTok. Grow Good sold out during the pre-sale in April in under an hour, according to the initial reporting from the Blackshin. Sold out in under 60 minutes. That means there's a whole army of customers, thousands upon thousands of them, who bought the line, tried the line, love the line, and are quietly using it every wash day without posting a single word online. Because Cardi B's shampoo actually works isn't a viral tweet. That doesn't get retweets. That doesn't build engagement. That doesn't feed the algorithm. But Cardi B made my hair fall out? Oh, that's a viral tweet. That engagement bait wearing perfume. That's the kind of post that gets 40,000 retweets in a day and gets your account boosted for a week. Hot New Hip Hop even flagged the imbalance in a recent piece on how celebrity beauty controversies get amplified. The critics really thought nobody would clock the math? That's terrible math, bruh. That's 5th grade math, and y'all failed it. Now, circle back to that second complaint. The thinning at the top review. Read it again with fresh eyes. That reviewer casually admitted, right in the middle of her post, that she colored her hair during the trial period. Bleach, box dye, permanent color, semi-permanent. Doesn't matter. Every one of those chemical treatments lifts the cuticle and triggers a shedding cascade that can last for 4 to 8 weeks after the application, a point that Allure, Cosmopolitan, and Birdie have all covered in dedicated hair science pieces going back years. So the shedding this woman is blaming on Cardi's shampoo? It started because of her own chemical service. The timeline she typed out with her own hands proves it. She's connecting dots that live on completely different pages of the book. Anybody with even a background in cosmetic chemistry would look at that post and say the same thing every professional stylist on the Shade Room's comment section has been saying. That's the DYE, not the shampoo, ma'am. Here's another behind-the-scenes detail that will melt your brain. The exact same subreddit, r/natural hair, is hosting posts calling Grow Good my favorite hairline and posts calling it a total disaster. Same platform, same week, same community. Wildly different results. That is not a defective product. That is what happens when you drop 6 different formulations into a marketplace filled with 1 million different hair types, porosities, scalp pH levels, product buildup histories, hormonal cycles, water hardness levels, and pre-existing damage from previous services. Anybody acting like one beauty line should perform identically on every single human head on the planet does not understand how hair actually works. Vogue and Essence have both published extensive breakdowns of why hair care is one of the hardest categories in beauty, precisely because of this variability. But TikTok will strip all that nuance out in 3 seconds flat. But hold on, because here's where this breakdown gets even more interesting. Now I want y'all to zoom in with me, because nobody in the whole viral cycle has actually broken down the specific wording of that thinning review. Everybody screenshotted it. Nobody analyzed it. That's about to change. Take a look at that one specific phrase. I also dyed my hair in between then and now before I realized. Read it again. Also, that single word is a tell. In detective work, in courtroom testimony, in forensic linguistics, when a person buries their most crucial detail behind a soft connective word like also, they're signaling something important, whether they know it or not. Real investigators pick up on this. Deposition attorneys pick up on this. Even the page 6 comment section picks up on this. The word also is what you say when you're trying to minimize a detail that changes the entire story. It's not an accident. It's not a random adverb. It's a controlled release of information designed to sound harmless while planting a fact that undermines her whole complaint. If she truly believed the dye had nothing to do with her shedding, she would not have mentioned it in the first place. You don't randomly bring up a chemical treatment during a shampoo review unless somewhere in your gut you already suspect it might be the actual cause. She mentioned it because subconsciously she knows it matters. That's your smoking gun, right there in black and white pixels. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, let's zoom into the ingredient that this whole brand is built around. Fiber lace. Cardi's own trademark technology is a proprietary blend anchored primarily by hydrogenated castor oil derivatives and a sebacic acid copolymer designed to coat the strand, seal the cuticle, and mimic the protective role of natural sebum on textured hair, as Cardi explained in her long-form interview with Birdie, and as Allure's editorial team examined in their launch feature. That's actual cosmetic chemistry. That's not marketing fluff. But here's the thing about castor oil derivatives. They are famously notoriously heavy. That's not a bug. That's the whole point of the ingredient. It's supposed to be heavy so it can coat and protect. But heavy oils on low porosity hair, heavy oils on fine hair, heavy oils on straight silky type 2 hair, that equals buildup. And buildup mimics greasiness. And buildup can make normal daily shedding look like it's getting worse because the strands clump together in the shower and slide out in visible groups instead of one at a time. That is not the product damaging your hair. That is the product being used on the wrong hair type. There's a massive difference. Every professional stylist featured on Refinery 29's hair porosity guides has been screaming this for a decade. Any smart critic would have spent 10 minutes researching before running to Twitter. But apparently research ain't the vibe. Vibes are the vibe. Screenshots are the vibe. Vibes over facts every single time. And here's a forensic detail. Almost nobody has clocked in the whole viral cycle. Multiple reviewers describing shedding versus breakage. And those are two completely different things in hair science, a distinction hammered home in cosmopolitan Shakeology explainers and every professional education program licensed cosmetologists go through. Shedding comes from the root of the follicle, and each strand has a tiny white bulb at the end where it detached from the scalp. That's your body's natural growth cycle. 50 to 100 strands a day is absolutely medically, dermatologically normal according to every board-certified Shakeologist Vogue has ever interviewed. Breakage, on the other hand, happens mid-shaft. There's no bulb. The ends are jagged, and the cause is usually chemical damage, thermal damage from hot tools, or mechanical tension from tight styling. Now guess what? Not one of the viral complaints specified which one they were experiencing. Not a single one. They just said, my hair is falling out with no context, no photos of bulbs, no descriptions of the break points, no baseline shed count. That's like calling 911, screaming something bad is happening, and hanging up without telling the operator whether it's a fire, a robbery, or a medical emergency. The people yelling hair loss don't even know what category of hair loss they're allegedly describing. That's not a product problem. That is a knowledge problem. And Cardi's team is watching all this play out in real time, probably in a group chat somewhere, thinking, y'all really out here self-diagnosing with zero evidence and expecting the internet to take it as gospel? Now let's see how the actual media, the professionals, not the reactors, chose to cover this launch. Here is exactly where the media split shows the whole game being played in slow motion. Allure framed the Grow Good launch as a legitimate, industry-level beauty story, not a celebrity stunt. Not a vanity project. A real event worth serious editorial resources. They dispatched 4 editors to personally test a line. 4. And they treated Cardi's 3-year development process as a meaningful industry moment. It is, according to the Allure feature, when one of the most prestigious beauty magazines in America commits 4 editors and pages of real estate to a single launch that is a cosign the industry cannot fake or manufacture. Birdie went a different direction, but stayed just as respectful. Their piece framed the launch around Cardi's ambition and vision, literally tightening the coverage around her stated goal of helping women achieve booty-length hair, and gave meaningful space to the fiber lace science, the R&D timeline, and the personal philosophy behind the brand as detailed in the Birdie interview. Both of those outlets, the biggest and most credible beauty publications in the country, essentially said the same thing. This is a real product made over 3 years, backed by legitimate proprietary formulation. Vogue and Essence have both echoed similar framings in their own launch write-ups on Black-owned beauty brands hitting the market this year. But then swing over to the smaller blogosphere, the reactor TikToks, and the drama-hunting comment aggregators, and they spun the exact same launch story as messy, chaotic, and controversial. They cherry-picked the 3 or 4 worst Reddit posts. They completely ignored the sold-out presale. They pretended the licensed cosmetologist endorsement on Instagram didn't exist. They didn't mention the positive testimonials from the same subreddit they were quoting. They didn't discuss the fibrillase patent. They didn't reach out to a single trichologist for comment. That is a framing choice. That is not journalism. That is an angle wearing a press badge. Complex has on multiple occasions called out this exact pattern of algorithmic drama farming in the celebrity beauty space. And then there's a counter-narrative floating around that Cardi allegedly turned off the review section on her official website to hide negative feedback. Let me address that one head-on, because the mob is really running with it. I looked at the product pages myself. There's no active on-site review widget publicly displaying customer feedback right now, which some fans are interpreting as she's hiding the truth. But any e-commerce professional will tell you the same thing every write-up on celebrity beauty operations and Bossip and hot new hip-hop touches on. Plenty of celebrity brands manage their review ecosystems through external verified third-party platforms, rather than displaying an on-site widget that can be brigaded by trolls in under 20 minutes. That is a business decision, not a cover-up. It's the same setup Fenty, Rare Beauty, and half a dozen other major celebrity beauty brands run. Some of these Cardi haters are reaching so hard right now, they're going to dislocate a shoulder trying to make a review widget into a smoking gun. And you know what? These are the same people who confidently predicted Cardi's entire rap career was over back in 2023 as tracked in real time by XXL and Complex. And how did that prediction age? Oh, right. She came back, dominated, went on tour, launched a beauty empire, and made the Billboard charts her personal playground. The receipts do not match the narrative these people are selling. They never do. But here's what nobody is willing to say out loud. Everybody wants this to be a simple, tidy little Cardi B made a bad product story. That's the mainstream angle. That's the easy click. Celebrity launches beauty line. Some customers complain, brand catches heat, brand is in trouble. Clean narrative, clean thumbnail, clean 6-minute video for the reaction channels to feast on. Complex touched on the pattern in its recent piece on celebrity beauty controversies, and Billboard has covered similar dynamics in its music industry business columns. But I'm here to tell you that narrative is lazy. It is surface level. It is wrong. And it is designed to distract you from the real story that is unfolding right underneath everybody's nose. Here is what they will not tell you on the 6 o'clock TikTok live. This isn't about Grow Good. This isn't about a shampoo. This isn't about a conditioner. This is about the cultural tax that black women in the beauty industry are forced to pay every single time they try to build something of their own. And Cardi B just walked face first into the exact same trap that gets sprung on every black woman who dares to enter the space with a real product and real ambition. Think about the receipts. And I mean think hard. When Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty back in 2017, the first month there was a coordinated wave of My Skin is Breaking Out from Fenty Foundation TikToks. And I use TikTok loosely because it was the early social video era, flooding every corner of the algorithm, a phenomenon that Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Essence all documented in their retrospectives on Fenty's rise. Then Fenty went on to do what? Oh, right. Become a billion-dollar brand and redefine the entire foundation industry. When Beyoncé launched Secret, that did absolutely nothing for my hair. Reviews started rolling in within weeks, a pile on that Essence, and the Shade Room both covered in real time. Then Secret went on to do what? Sell out, restock, sell out again. When Tracy Ellis Ross launched Pattern Beauty, same exact playbook. The curl cream doesn't work on my hair, videos everywhere. Then Pattern kept growing and became a Sephora staple. Arise, Refinery 29, and Birdie have both profiled in depth. Notice the pattern yet? Every Time. A black woman drops a product. The internet develops an immediate, aggressive, algorithmically boosted allergy to it. That is not consumer feedback. That is not honest reviewing. That is a coordinated skepticism campaign disguised as concerned consumer awareness. And Cardi's haters really thought we wouldn't clock the playbook the fourth time we watched it get run? Nah, bruh. We've been reading the same script for 5 straight years. We know the plot. We know the villain. We know the ending. Now roll back to that /natural hair thread breakdown from earlier. Here's what makes that thread deeper than a product debate. That thread was never really about hair. That thread was about rejection. Cardi B is a Bronx-born, Dominican Trinidadian, ex-stripper-turned Grammy-winning billionaire brand owner who did not come up to the traditional industry channels. She did not go through the polite gatekeeper approval process. She did not get anointed by the tastemakers on the way up. She built her career loud, unapologetic, and on her own terms. A story Billboard, XXL, and Rolling Stone have all documented in extensive profiles. And there's a very specific, very predictable subset of the internet that cannot emotionally process her level of success. So every time she wins another round, chart-topping single, sold-out tour, new endorsement deal, growing family, thriving business, they go hunting for the L. They will comb through thousands of grow-good reviews, find 6 negative ones, blow them up into a fake class action lawsuit narrative, and pray to the algorithm gods that the boost carries them to the front page of every trend feed. That is not consumer advocacy. That is not concerned journalism. That is psychological warfare in the shape of skincare Twitter, boss of hot new hip-hop, and the Shade Room have all noted the coordinated troll pattern that emerges anytime Cardi has a business win. The haters are playing checkers, poorly, in the dark. Cardi's playing 5-dimensional chess with the industry's own money. And that fiber-lace formulation we broke down molecule by molecule earlier, here is the real industry angle nobody in this discourse is touching, and it is the most important paragraph in this entire breakdown. Cardi trademarked her own hair technology. Read that again. She trademarked her own ingredient system. That means she is not white labeling somebody else's decade-old formula and stamping her logo on a jar. She OWNs the intellectual property. Do you understand how vanishingly rare that is in the celebrity beauty space? Do you know how many celebrity beauty brands are actually just repackaged existing formulas from the same 3 or 4 private label contract manufacturers in New Jersey and California? A lot. A humbling amount. Refinery 29 and Business of Fashion have both published deep dives on the private label reality behind celebrity beauty lines. Cardi didn't do that. Cardi went to the lab. 3 years. Real R&D, real chemistry consultations. A registered trademark on a hair care technology system. That is why the entire industry is nervously watching this launch. Because if Grow Good succeeds, like truly succeeds, it proves that a Bronx rapper with no formal cosmetic chemistry background can walk into the beauty industry, build a legitimate hair science brand from scratch, and threaten the market share of legacy hair companies that have been overcharging black women for products with mid-ingredient decks for literal decades. That is the threat. That is why the negative reviews are getting boosted so aggressively. That is the actual story hiding underneath the drama. Essence has been publishing think pieces on the shifting hair care power dynamics for over a year, and Grow Good is walking right into the middle of that shift. Cardi's real opposition, the trolls, the anti-fans, the she's so overhyped crew that lives on Twitter. They are not competing with her. They are panicking about her. She is a Grammy-winning artist, confirmed in her ongoing Billboard chart runs. She is a mother of 4. She just launched a sold-out beauty brand. She is planning another tour. She is stacking endorsement deals. She is expanding into new business verticals. Meanwhile, her critics are unemployed on the internet typing. Her hairline is trash at 3 a.m. between rounds of doom scrolling and quote tweet fights with strangers. Every predictable move they make, predictable. They have already lost this war, and they don't even realize the battle is over. And that is the truth they will never tell you on a reaction channel. So where does this whole story go from here? Let's forecast the next 12 months. Here's exactly what is most likely to unfold from this point forward. Based on every previous black-owned beauty brand cycle we have watched play out over the last decade, Grow Good is going to keep growing, not slow down, grow. Cardi is already teasing Product Wave 2 through her social channels, and every industry watcher over at Complex and Billboard has been tracking her pipeline. Every time she drops a new product on Instagram, the pre-order lists are going to fill up faster than the last round did. The negative reviewers who are enjoying their 15 viral minutes right now, they're going to get quieter and quieter as thousands of satisfied customers post length check videos, hairline recovery videos, wash day routines, and before and afters that make the Cardi B made my hair fall out narrative look absolutely ridiculous in retrospect. 6 months from now, that whole moment is going to be a footnote. 12 months from now, we'll look back at the pile-on and wonder in genuine confusion how anybody actually bought into it. The critics are going to look desperate, screaming into a void nobody is checking anymore, while Cardi is checking bank statements and quarterly reports. Mark those words in ink. Now, and this is where it gets spicy, if the alternative scenario actually happens, if Cardi decides to address these complaints directly on Instagram Live, it is over for the opposition. Y'all know how Cardi handles slander. We have seen the tape. We have watched every industry insider who came at her sideways get dismantled in real time on their own timeline. Page 6 has documented every one of those clashes. Complex and XXL have written retrospectives on how Cardi responds to public criticism, and the verdict is universal. She doesn't hold a less. She distributes them, receipts included, with commentary. If she decides to take the mic on this one, here is exactly how it goes. She's going to hop on live, uncapped and unfiltered. She's going to hold up each product in her actual bathroom. She is going to show her own hair, currently reaching well past her shoulder blades according to the recent tour photos circulating on the Shade Room, cascading down her back as living proof of concept. She's going to walk through every accusation, every exaggerated review, every misrepresented screenshot, and she is going to dismantle it in real time with more receipts than the IRS. Her opposition? They are not ready for that broadcast. They are never ready for that broadcast. The reviewers who exaggerated their claims? Their posts are getting deleted by sundown, and the apology videos are going up by the morning news cycle. That's how a Cardi rebuttal ends. Every single time. Now, let's zoom out to the bigger picture, because this is where the entire narrative flips upside down. This whole viral moment, this coordinated pile-on that critics thought would sink her, is actually going to elevate Cardi's business empire, not damage it. Because here is what history has proven, over and over, in the black beauty space. When a black-owned beauty brand survives a coordinated online pile-on, the loyalty of the customers who stuck it out becomes unbreakable. Fenty survived its early breakout pile-on and turned into a billion-dollar juggernaut, as Vogue and Harper's Bazaar have both retrospectively confirmed. Secret survived its early doesn't work wave and kept selling out drops, as Essence has tracked release after release. Pattern survived its early doubters and became a Sephora staple, but the profiles Refinery 29 and Birdie have run over the last few years. Grow Good is going to walk that same exact path. It is going to survive. It is going to thrive. And it is going to emerge on the other side with a customer base that is ride or die for life. Meanwhile, the trolls who spent months trying to sing it are going to have to watch, helplessly, publicly, algorithmically, as Cardi expands into skincare, body care, and eventually a full children's hair care line that industry insiders speaking to Complex and hot new hip-hop have been quietly whispering about for months, possibly branded around baby-friendly names like Baby Blossom or Baby Brim on the label. Cardi is not planning a hair brand. She is planning a beauty empire, and Grow Good was just the first move on the board. 5 years from now, when the dust has settled and the trend cycles have moved on, people are going to look back at this specific moment as the exact instant where Cardi's business empire transitioned from rapper with a side hustle to genuine beauty industry mogul in the Rihanna, Beyonce, Tracy tier. Billboard, Variety, Complex, and Forbes are eventually going to publish the retrospective pieces that lock that legacy in. The receipts are going to write themselves. And the critics? The trolls? The She's Overrated crew? They will still be on Twitter, still typing She's Overrated from their group houses and their parents' basements, still watching culture move on without them, still refusing to admit they were wrong. Their entire relevance is going to expire in real time, watching a Bronx-born mogul build generational wealth off a product they swore would fail. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that they can do to stop it. Whatever happens next, whatever product drops next, whatever tour Cardi announces next, whatever Grammy she wins next, one thing is already crystal, undeniably, mathematically clear right now, in this moment, on this timeline. The haters already lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss when we expose what everyone else is too scared to say. Ring that bell for notifications. And if you want more truth bombs like this, click on one of these videos next. Trust me, you'll want to see what we found.